इतना सफर है कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में। इतना सा फर्क है एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी कि एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
A very good afternoon to each and everyone who has joined us today for Business Opportunity with Chai webinar series. This is a digital representation of the brand for the day. Our aim and objective is to represent the brand so that you get interaction with the brand's representative who have joined us today digitally. Franchise India is the platform which was established in 1999 to help all international and national brands to expand their franchise model and business through our pan-India offices. And we truly claim that no one sells more business than us because we have helped thousands of investors in getting the business solutions advice from our side. And we are among top 10 management consulting companies in India. We welcome management team of Franchise India, Mr. Gaurav Maria, and our second panel member, Ms. Sonia Chaudhary, for 250 edition of this series. The flow of the webinar would be, we'll invite brand so that they can connect each one of you to you and present their business model. And then we'll take all your queries. Today, we are presenting the brand which represents F&B category. Hunger Monks is the brand where Mr. Uday will join us and will talk about this great brand. Uday enjoys 10 years of experience in MNC, then he left that particular portfolio and started his own brand under the name of Hunger Monks. Hunger Monks provide a wide variety of food items in their menu, and this is the low cost opportunity for each one of you. Thank you so much, Uday, for joining in today. Over to you so that we can start with a formal presentation from your side.
Thank you for the opportunity, Archana, and thank you, Gaurav sir and Sonia Madam, for giving this platform to expand my brand pan India. Thanks a lot for all the talks, opportunities, everything.
Welcome, Udayji.
Thank you, ma'am. Can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Hunger Monks is a brand where it has come with a unique concept. For example, you would have seen many brands where their exclusivity in for example, if you go to pizza, there are many brands they're exclusive into pizzas. Okay, and if you want to lassis, they're very much exclusive in lassi concepts, all these things. For example, a true story based on a true story, where for example, entire family has gone out to have a different snacks in evening outing. Okay, so what happens? Everyone will have their own way of I want pizza, I want burger, Some kids will tell, I want mocktails or milkshakes. So Hunger Monks is designed in such a way that where all the products, all the recipes, all the items have come into one floor, where entire family can visit Hunger Monks, any of the Hunger Monks outlets, and they'll get starting from snacks to a meal box, where it covers all like fast food things like pizzas, burgers, sandwich, momos, wafers, milkshakes, smoothies, and we also going to add traditional drinks as well in this. For example, your Nannari and your Chennai special Jigriganda. So many things. We are doing a many R&Ds for the menu items, and each and every product has its own recipe. For example, if I want to prepare a lassi, we have its own SOP with how lassi is to prepare. A step-by-step process, like add 100 ml of milk, 50 ml of curd, and add my premixes, add my fresh cream. Everything is standardized in that way. Uh, we want same taste in the pan India. Wherever Hunger Monks get opens, we want to maintain the same quality and taste. That is the reason we have done this SOP concept, so that everything should be on the same page. So this is what the Hunger Monks is. Uh, this is one of my outlet picture, which is in Bangalore, Kormangala. Kormangala is the other one. This the picture is of Gopalan Grand Mall. And coming to my background is I worked with almost different MNCs. I was at data analytics, where we used to create different dashboards for the clients like Tesla, Bosch, Ezaki, all those things. We have our own customer database, and we used to prepare different dashboards. I almost worked for 10 years. Now almost from 2 years we have come into food F&B franchising, creating a brand, doing a business into the franchisee business. Apart from this, we also own Eagles Pizza for entire Karnataka master franchisee. So we have two brands. One is Eagles Pizza and the other one is Hunger Monks. The overall concept of Hunger Monks is like we want to add all the different products, different tastes, different recipes in one single room. That is the only concept of Hunger Monks. Now, going forward. Actually, next slide over there. Yeah. Coming to why Hunger Monks? Many will have these questions. Why we need to choose your brand itself? We have multiple brands in the market. Why can't we go with that? And they are far better than in the compared to your brand awareness, branding, all those things. Yes, I agree. I don't want to talk about other brands. But coming to why Hunger Monks is we are tested business model. For example, uh, my all my outlets would give same taste because we are not dependent on the kitchen people. I mean, a crew. We call them as kitchen crew. We are not dependent on them. We are dependent on our SOPs because every product it has its own SOP. Even a layman, a person who doesn't know anything about preparing things, he can go stand there and see my SOP and do things. So starting from snacks to ending from rice bowls. So everything has its own way of preparing the items and products. So this is how you can say choose Hunger Monks. Okay. And coming to margins, we have excellent margin in food industry. Not only Hunger Monks, any food brand you take, it will minimum give 35 to 40% of the margin. So that is what it is there. And Hunger Monks also follow the same things because we have a making cost. For example, if you want to prepare a lassi, how much it costs to me? We have a step by step costing also, and we'll show investors how much you are selling it, what is your profit margin for every item, for every product. And we have already standardized the SOPs as well. And coming to healthy and delicious taste and increase to footfalls, like we have a different products where which gives you health benefits. For example, salads. For example, your coco nusipira, which is again prepared with
fresh tender coconut. We have different recipes in that. So this is what we are also focusing on healthy products in the menu card. And research development provide more working products that is already there. A unique best class concept targeted yes continuous training. And coming to the training part, every 6 months we upgrade our menu and we also give a basic training to the kitchen crew, whoever is working pan India. We give a basic training every 6 months. It's not like I go and stand and see the chart and do it. It doesn't work. A basic checklist would be followed by the kitchen people. So that basic training will be from company end. The company will take care of that. And coming to lifetime training support, yes, we do training support for the lifetime until the agreement exists with the franchises. And coming to quality and attractive products, yes, we are very much focused on our ingredients, what we prefer. For example, if I want to prepare a pizza, we have standard brands. You should use this, and that is company will take care of tying up with the different brands in locally wherever the outlet is getting open. That we will support. For example, if I want to prepare a pizza, what atta should I use? What sauces should I use? What ketchup should I use? So all these, we have a standard list of brands. Only the reason behind this is like to give a proper taste to the customer. If it doesn't, if the taste doesn't there, then there is no use of giving franchises. There is no use of opening outlets. So that is the reason we have a set of standards to be followed. It's a mandatory rules to be followed by the franchisee or investor to attract the customers. That company will take care to tie-ups. Okay, coming to our menu card, yes, we have lassis, we have soups, we have sandwich, we have special lassis again, we have nuggets. Next stage. We have milkshakes, we have detox. Detox is like which will detoxify your body, entire body. We have only 4 items as of now. If the franchisee wants more to be added, we have that recipe also. We'll do it. We have corns, we have mocktails, we have kulfis. Next slide. We have coffees and teas, we have caffeines, we have momos, we have waffles, we have ice creams. Next slide. This is what I was talking about, Coconut Supira, where fresh tender coconut is used, and we have different recipes and different flavored tender coconut, which is again a health conscious drink. And we have faludas, we have frankies, we have pastas, we have fries. And talking about this, every item has its own SOP. It's not like the same Frankie used and different flavors added and will give. Every item has its own SOP. Every item will have its own premixes. That only company will give it. Every month the investor should purchase it from companies. Apart from other ingredients, we will be helping you in tying up with the local vendors. That is company will take care of that part. But coming to premixes, that is mandatory. You need to purchase it from company itself, because that is the magic of the every item. And we have pastas as well here. And next slide. And coming to main agenda, like budgeting. What would be the costing? What is the investment? How much what is franchisee? What is the other expenses? Yes. Coming to its basic kiosk model, it is called as a takeaway model. Okay, where there is no dining concept would be there. Only just 150 square feet of the place. Only kitchen area would be there, and where customers will walk in, pack it and take away, or else they can just stand there and drink it and go. For a best example I can take is like malls, because in malls we will be having a common dining area. And coming to franchisee fee we are charging just 3 lakhs, and equipment and other costs should be 4 to 7 lakhs. The total investment should be 8 to 10 lakhs. Equipments and others should be like every purchase you make, or we guide you to make, it will be from you and the vendor. company will not pitch in between and will not take entire 7 lakhs or 10 lakhs from the investor. No, we'll take only franchisee fee and rest 4 to 7 lakhs will be directly. We will guide you what item to purchase from which vendor. So you should directly pay to his a GST or whatever it is, and you should collect the products. That is what we are following. We want to be very transparent in this. Okay, and coming to ROI, yes, 35 to 40% is your ROI. For example, I'll give an example. For preparing a pizza, I'll just explain how it works. We are using 6-inch pizza that is called as pocket pizza, a mini pizza, because we are into mini cafe restaurant. So we want to be very unique in this. We don't want to use regular large medium size pizzas. Okay, that is the reason we are focusing 6-inch pizza. So 1 kg atta will give me 12 dows. One dough will be somewhere around 80 grams. So it will come somewhere around 12 dollars. So one dough will cost me 4 rupees, 3 to 4 rupees maximum, because 1 kg atta would be somewhere around 42 rupees. So one dough would cost me 4 to 5 rupees. So we'll take average 5 rupees. Okay. And adding cheese on that, that cheese would cost me other 10 rupees. Because 2 kg packet of cheese is somewhere around 800 rupees. We have our own brands of cheese. So that is the reason I'm telling you it's 800 rupees. That's a bit higher. So we use 30 grams of cheese. So adding other 10 rupees for that. So 5 rupees plus 10, 15 rupees. And other rest of your salaries, your electricity bill, rent, everything would come somewhere around, we'll add some 30%, somewhere around 20 rupees. So overall costing is 35 rupees. But we sell pizza for 70 rupees. So almost 35 rupees again more. This is how it works. Next, is for if you're looking for Hunger Monks, we have a dedicated numbers. You can contact Franchise India.
Thank you so much, Udayji, for this presentation. And friends, I will request, I did see some questions coming in, but if you're keen for any territory or city, please put that on the Q&A box and we'll take that up on your behalf. And also with respect to the business model, if you have any questions, we'll take it up with Mr. Uday. I see some hands being raised. I will request if you can put your questions in the QA box, it will be better. We'll be able to take it up. Now, before we start, Udayji, I'll pick some questions and we'll then go to the audience for their questions to be answered. And maybe I'll reiterate the model which has been discussed. So we're looking at a smaller model, which is only a kiosk model, which comes with 100 square feet of space requirement, and where the overall investment is to the tune of 8 to 10 lakhs, which also includes a 3 lakhs towards the franchise fees. Now, if I just, to start off with, if you can, help us in understanding the breakup of this investment of 10 lakhs, where we understand 3 lakhs is towards the franchise fees, and the balance investment is towards the equipment that needs to be put in the kitchen, and some amount of that would also go towards maybe the capex which will go in the outlet. Now, when we talk about the kiosk, is this a prefabricated kiosk, or this can also run in any location which can have 100 square feet of space? So how would the fabrication be done for the kiosk is one of the questions I have. Is that prefabricated and sent? And the other question is if you can elaborate a little bit on the breakup of that 10 lakhs that we've talked about. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Hanji, we can now.
Yeah.
I was able to.
Just adding up, kiosk model. We also, for example, if you're taking a place in a mall, something like that, okay, it will be a raw shell where only 4 walls would be there. So for that fabrication, that is again a kitchen setup. That is called as kitchen setup. So that would cost you somewhere around 1 lakh, where we'll be having different water supply sources, electricity sources, and fabrication of entrance, like where we will deliver the products, like where we'll keep the this thing, what is that, shelf kind of thing. So all this fabrication would come in this. What I was selling 4 to 7 lakhs, that would come in this. And adding to this 4 to 7 lakhs, every expenses what we do, it will be directly to investor itself. No company will not take this 4 to 7 lakhs. We will route directly investor to different vendors.
For example, if I want to purchase a pizza oven, the basic oven, I have best vendors. I'll connect to them. You can purchase directly oven to him, because we don't want confusion in the investors' mind that they have taken 10 lakhs. I cannot see 10 lakhs here. So we don't want to create that confusion for the investor. We want to be very transparent. That is the reason we take only franchise from our company, and apart from every single penny what investor is spending, it will be directly from investor and vendor. Including this what is called the inventory. Inventory also we tie up with the vendors. We make tie up with the vendors to investors directly. Apart from premixes, you should mandatory purchase from company. That is a rule. Apart from all other 99% products locally tie up with our own specified brands. That is how it works. If for example, if an investor has his own place or is looking something a bigger space, yes, we can go ahead, but only extra cost should be borne by the investor itself. For example, if he has some 600 square feet of place where we'll be using only 50 square feet for kitchen, rest remaining space should be a dining. That interior cost should be borne by the investor. And again, coming to interior themes, we have our own predefined themes where we'll give some 10 themes to investors. Out of 10, he should select one, because we want to be very unique in the market. We don't want all our Hunger Monks outlets should look same. We want every outlet should be unique. So we give 10 different themes to the investor. Based on he can select any of the theme and he can go ahead. Again, he has two options. He has, if he want to do it from his local vendors, he can do it, or if he want company people to should do, he will do it. That is available. We are not only fixed for kiosk model, we can also expand.
Okay, so what you're saying is 100 square feet, the kiosk model, because I did see a question from the audience where they said, is this the only model they could do, or they could also be a bigger format? So there could also be a possibility of a bigger format if that location is a potential location for putting a big infrastructure. And the minimum area that we need is 100 square feet for a kiosk. And what Mr. Uday is informing is that the entire investment that goes in, apart from 3 lakh franchise fees, the rest of the investment is the split between the interiors of the outlet and also the equipment which is placed, for which the company will give you specifications of the interiors, and also the vendors who would supply that, and that can be executed and paid directly to these vendors, right? So another question which I want to ask you is on maybe the throughput. Typically 100 square feet of an outlet, what kind of sales typically would that generate? And what are the typical expenses one has to take into consideration, which also includes what idle rental should be there, what kind of manpower requirements do we have at the outlet, typical salaries for the staff at the outlet, and other expenses which one has to take into consideration. And also if you can advise on the food cost. So all these elements which are important for running maybe an F&B format of this nature, what are the expenses which one has to take care of, and net what percentage or margins is one left with?
Okay. I have my team member. He can give more clarity on this R&D team, how this kitchen things work, what will be manpower. Can he talk? His name is Shiva. He's in this group. Can you allow him to talk?
Sure,
One of
sure.
my
We
team
can.
member, R&D.
So can I have his full name?
Shiva sir, can you just ping in the group?
Because I do see two names.
Can you just chat in the group, Shiva sir? You're there?
So we have Mr. Shiva Shankar and we have Mr. Shiva Charan Gudur. I see two names in the audience with the name Shiva. If I can
Shiva Shankar, can you just chat in the group? Oh, meanwhile, I'll start till he chat in the group. Meanwhile, I'll start. Yes, adding to this, what manpower, what would be your expenses, what would be your sales, all those things. For 100 SFT square feet of place, the rent would be somewhere around 8,000, 10,000 rupees max. Okay, this should be your rent expenses. Shiv Kumar, ask him to chat in the group. No, just say hi. Add me.
Hi Uday,
Shiv
he's
Kumar in the
there
name
in
of
your
Shiv Kumar.
panelist link. Shiva Shankar, you are there as a panelist.
Shiv Kumar. Chat is disabled. Okay. Chat is disabled. That's fine, no issues. I'll just take up. For 100 SFT square feet, the rent would be somewhere 8 to 10,000, and the sales what it would give is like somewhere around, it should be minimum 1.5 to 2 lakhs of sale. Okay, and coming to the kitchen part, we send a kitchen crew from a company end, because we don't want to take risk. A local person will take up a kitchen, and we don't want, the taste is wrong. We don't want to take that risk, because we want to keep our brand to alive at least for 10 years. At least for 10 years, we want our brand to keep alive, and also a franchisee, whoever he has taken, we want he also should make some handsome money within that concept.
Sure. And typically, what royalties are we charging?
Royalty we are charging
Overall
4%.
sales, okay. And this
Royalty we are
typically,
charging 4%.
what? All right. And if I wanted to understand, because I think we skipped that part, what is a typical, revenue model or a typical sale, which may be a format of 100 square feet does, and which are the potential locations, because these are smaller formats and these have to be locations which are captive audience present in a high footfall area. So which are the locations you would advise for 100 square feet kiosk?
100 square feet kiosk, we would advise, malls, any place in the malls, okay, and any place, a small place where we have a handsome crowd and floating crowd. And coming to location, investors should at least have 4 locations in the mind, unless our I think Shiva Kumar isn't there now. But unless our we have a property finalizing team where they will go have a survey 1 or 2 days. Though we will finalize 1 location out of 4. We don't want any location to go ahead, and we don't want shut down our business within 6 months or 1 year. We don't want that to happen. We have our own team where they'll take care of this location finalizing. But franchisee or investors should have at least 3 to 4 locations in contact. Out of 3, 4, we'll finalize 1. But still that 4 locations are not feasible to go ahead, we'll say no. We'll take some 2-3 months more time. We have no issues, but we don't want to start our business in the wrong location. I think Shiva sir is there now. Shiva sir, hi. He is our R&D head who will take care of entire kitchen part, and coming to employees part, the logistics part, and designing different recipes, upgrading menu cards, everything. He's our national head for Hunger Monks. Shiva sir, it's up to you now.
Welcome, Mr. Shiva. Actually, we were asking some questions, and Mr.
Can you unmute?
Shiva sir, probably
Are
you
you
have
able
to
to hear
use
us?
your. So probably you have to use your computer sound. Your microphone is not working. We request you to use your computer sound.
I think before we get set, maybe I'll also quickly take some other questions which I'm seeing, coming from the audience. Where are the current locations of your outlets currently in, and which are your priority cities or states where you wish to enter? And I will pick some locations. I see maybe somebody from Bangalore, Kolhapur is another inquiry. We have put one of our prospective, I would say, partners who would like to know if that location is open. And I see Telangana and AP at large, where some of the prospective investors are looking to enter or understanding these markets are potential. So would you want to give a visibility of cities which you see as an immediate, priority for you to enter?
Coming to the cities, enter where we want to plan our outlets, Hunger Monks. We are already, have a proper logistics team wherever the investor or franchise is opening an outlet. We have a proper, defined logistics team, because Shiva and team is already working with different brands pan India. They are major suppliers for premixes, ingredients and different products for pan India, across India. So we have no issues, in terms of those, logistics. Any of the products, should be delivered from warehouse to your location. We have no concerns about that. And coming to expansion, yes, we are planning expansion pan India. And coming to a place, a location, it should be well floating crowd location. That is what we are looking for. Like college crowds, proper, a mall crowd, colleges, schools, colleges, and residential properties. Yes, and coming to Bangalore, we have some one in Martali, one in Gopalan Grand Mall, one in Kormangala, and Bhubaneswar we have signed up already. We are searching of location, and Gulbarga we have signed up one, and Lucknow we have signed up one, and Kanpur near Access College we have signed up one. So we're already there in Uttar Pradesh, we're already there in Odisha.
Okay, so you mentioned about 6 odd locations where you currently have presence or coming up in maybe the subsequent month. So would these be also the priority states where you wish to enter, or you're looking at maybe even regions outside is something we would like you to maybe clarify? And I also have Mr. Sri Hari from Vijayawada. He would like to know if there's any location close by which he can visit.
Yeah, Srihari, hi. We are coming up in Guntur by March end, I guess. We are coming up in Guntur already. It's signed up. The work has been started by March end. We are coming up in Guntur. That would be your nearest location from Vijayawada.
Okay, I also have a question, with respect to hiring of the manpower and also training of this manpower. What kind of, I would say, training is given to these partners who come on board one, and will the company also help recruitment of maybe the staff at the franchise outlet?
Adding here, coming to manpower things, company will hire the manpower based on the signups. For example, we have signed up an outlet on the March 1st. So company will start hiring manpower for that particular location, dedicated to that particular location. We'll hire on the agreement date itself. We'll be training at the back end. We have our training hub. We'll be training them at the back end. So once your date is finalized for opening, then we'll onboard them there. So and also creating a backup of the manpower, that is company will take care of it.
Okay, and typically how long these trainings would end? Are these trainings happening at the outlet itself, or the franchise partner is also expected to take training at the head office of the company?
From the day one of opening, we have a set of guidelines, a checklist that franchises should follow. We want franchises also should take a basic training to understand the business, to understand cost saving terms, to understand how all the things runs. We give a minimum 15 days of training to franchisee as well from the day one of the opening. In the outlet itself, it's an on-job training.
All right. And typically,
Yeah.
how many people would one kiosk need? Because subsequent to the question, Mr. Sri Hari would also like to know, how many people typically are required at the outlet, and also, if you can, because we have Mr. Shiva Kumar also on this webinar. Typically, what kind of salaries would go for this manpower?
Shiv Kumar, will you take up? Shall I take up the question? Okay, fine. He has some problems, I guess. Fine. For kiosk model, we require 2 people. That again, we'll be sending a trained staff to the respective outlets, and the salary part would be somewhere around 10 to 12,000 per month for each person. To manage such a diversified, we at least require 2 people. That again, we will send it to you. I have no issues about the manpower. We will back up to you. And also apart from that, we have a proper SOP chart for every item. Even a franchisee can also understand how this business model works. We have such like I want some senior guy, I want some master chef. We have no such rule. A basic guy who the basic training, he can also start the Hunger Monks and do it with the proper taste. At the end, taste is very mandatory, to get more and more customers, to generate more revenue. So that we already formalized. We already done it. Only thing is a proper follow up, and SOP should be followed. Whoever is there in the outlet.
I also have question which is on the term of the agreement, which is being asked by one of our I would say prospects in the webinar, Mr. Rajendran. So he wants to know typically what is the validity of your franchise contract, and what are the renewal terms if somebody wants to extend that further.
we have a proper agreement in terms of 5 years. Again, investor can renew it. Man, I'll make sure he'll renew it because he'll earn handsome money. We have a proper agreement of 5 years. Yes, again, it's renewable to 5 years.
Okay. All right.
And
we have
agreement, we
Mr.
mention
Praveen,
all our
wanting-
terms.
Sure. And we have Mr. Praveen who wants to know if this model can also work on a FOCO. And I understand, FOCO sometimes outside your home city becomes difficult. So is there a model for FOCO, or we want to move only with the franchisee on franchisee operated structure?
No, this entire model is partially FOCO model because franchisee owned, but operating will be from the company end because the people who are operating your outlet, they are my staff, they are company dedicated staff. So they will be guiding you everything. For example, if you want to order some inventory, my staff will be telling you, sir, this inventory khatam ho gaya, can you get it, please? So everything will be operated from the company itself. But only thing is, we want franchise also should be part at least single day, at least for some hours, he should be part of that outlet to understand how the business is working. We cannot completely depend on a staff. So that is the only reason we ask franchisee to be part of at least for some hours in a day. But entire operation should be done by staff itself because they will be running the show, they will be delivering the customers, they will be taking the orders, they will be preparing the all the products. So everything is operated from the staff itself.
Sure. And if
We
you
call
see
it as
that
a
today,
partially FOCO model.
all right. And now, so which means that you will have staff which is trained, which is sent by you. They're trained on the entire recipes. They're trained on the entire SOPs of how the business needs to operate. And the partner would also be trained on the same, and he needs to put his time to run and operate. But you will have a dedicated staff who is trained and supplied at respective outlets. My other question would also be on, today a lot of businesses are dependent on delivery platforms like Zomato and Swiggy, as platforms, and there's a bigger commission which goes out. So how dependent, because most of these locations, especially when it comes to kiosks, strategic locations which has a captive audience, a good footfall. So is there also dependability on online orders? And if yes, will the company support in getting these, I would say, relationship with these marketplace, these delivery platforms? And typically what commission goes out to them?
Okay. Adding up with the delivery partners things, we are tied up with the Swiggy, Zomato, Magicpin, Paytm, and Dunzo, Amazon Foods as a pan-India national tie-up. Investors should not need to roam around to get these tie-ups. We're already there. We are here to make the things done. Only thing is, investors should send his GST copies and other required documents. We will be helping tying up with all these brands. So investors should need not to worry about all these things, about the tie-ups. We are there already. And adding to other marketing stuff, we are there with Flipkart as Super Coins for Hunger Monks. That is exclusive Super Coins. And also we are, in the month of March, we are tying up with all the corporate banks where, bank website will should put a small ad of Hunger Monks, with using a code. Whoever get that code, they can visit Hunger Monks and get discount of 10%, 15% like that. This is one of the marketing strategy what we are doing it now. And coming to this guiding, how what offers should I place in Swiggy, Zomato, Amazon Foods. We are there every 3 months. We will be promoting in offers. We will be promoting a marketing strategies. What to be done, what not to be done. For example, for every 3 months, we'll put some offer like buy 2 get 1 free or buy 1 get 1 free. With the feasible. Even investors should also have some income out of that. For example, if I'm giving buy 1 get 1, it doesn't make any profits to me. There is no use of running the show.
All right.
So we have set of products to be which can be given in a discounts.
Sure. And what are the typical licenses one franchisee would need in order to launch and maybe operate a kiosk? Which are typical licenses that can be highlighted to our investors?
Okay. For coming to the brand perspective, we have all the licenses. In the perspective of the brand, he can use my brand and he can use our packaging stuff. And whereas a local market, investors should take a food license and trade license. That again will help you in taking food license and trade license. Only these 2 licenses investors should pursue, and apart from this, GST it should be done by investor. These are 3 licenses. One is GST, one is a food license, one is a trade license. And coming to brand licenses, we'll give all the copies where he can put it in his outlet. Brand perspective licenses.
Okay, helpful. See, another question which I wanted to pick, and you did make a mention of the supplies, and a lot of companies have some kind of centralized supplies which are proprietary. I would say sauces or some products or ingredients which are proprietary to the company. Are there any kind of such specialized or specific supplies that you make to the outlet? And if yes, what is the, I would say, the period within which these are supplied, and how the supply chain is maintained? And my second question would be on the local vendors for taking supply of raw materials. It does what the company would help on the specifications of these vendors and suppliers.
Yeah, Sonia, are you able to hear me now? Is it
Yes.
audible now? Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks
Hi.
for hearing.
Okay. So there's some problem in the system. Okay. Coming to the centralized supply network is concerned, so we will be totally be operating out of Bangalore, and almost about 60 to 70% of the products what will be used in the outlet will be locally sourced. Just to reduce the transportation cost and the hassle of distribution and all. But 60 to 70% of the products will be locally sourced, and the functional products, the key ingredients or our secret recipe products or our premixes will be supplied from Bangalore directly. So no matter to which city, town, or whichever pin code, we can service it across the country. That should not be a problem, and the maximum will be sourced locally. For the franchisee to have ease of operation, like to have a lesser investment on the par stock and all this thing. So almost about 60% of the products would be locally sourced. Okay, I also wanted to mention the previous question because I was not audible. This is pertaining to the staff and the training and other things which you had mentioned, right?
Sure.
So what we will be doing is that we will be helping the franchisees in doing the recruitment at the local level, right? Because there are a lot of parameters we need to look into, like linguistic problems, the culture, and like a person working in Nagaland will have a different way of communicating to a customer, so on and so forth. So there will be a setup team from our side where that will consist of 2 or 3 members, depending upon the outlet size, whether it's a kiosk model or a dine-in model or a super dine-in model. We will be sending the team likewise, right? So one person will be taking care of the entire product training. The other person will be taking care of the IT, inventory management, forms, formats, and the dine-in and all this thing. So if it's even a bigger outlet, then there will be a team of 3 people who will be coming visiting the outlet, and we will handle the entire team for about 15 to 20 days. Primarily, right? If need arises, yes, we will extend that period. So the handholding will be approximately, as of now, it is about 15 to 20 days. By then, the team, whoever is there, should be able to grasp the whole this thing. In terms of the skill sets of the staffs required in the outlet level is very bare minimum. They need to know some basic English, or read, write, speak English, good looking, and hospitable nature. That's the only parameters what we are looking at as far as the staff members' quality is concerned, right? And all our food products are driven by a strictly followed standard operating procedure, where we'll put a very, very simplified pictorial SOPs will be pasted in the outlet kitchen area, where anybody who comes into the this thing will be able to relate it as soon as possible, right? Rather going into a rigorous chef training or something like that. So it will be a very simplified pictorial SOP where we will primarily train the franchisee, because he needs to be on top of the whole operation, so that the guys cannot fool around with him, sir. Maine ye dala, wo nahi aaya, ye dala, wo nahi aaya. So we will primarily train the franchisee, and then parallelly the team. So it will be a very simplified SOP, especially even if an uneducated guy should be able to relate it, because it's all pictorial, right? So
Okay. And not the licenses, because food is one category where a lot of people who come and take these franchises are mostly first-time business buyers who might not come with some prerequisites or qualifications to run a franchisee. So I'd like to take some questions on behalf of many of them, which could also be helpful. So for example, if we talked about an investment of say 10 odd lakhs, I have a question which Mr. Rajendran wants to know, because we talked about these licenses, including GST and the food license, which is required. So typical, investment or the fees which goes towards these licenses, how much fees is that? Will the company also support in getting that for the franchisee? And if yes, what support is extended to them? And lastly, is this fee also included in the overall investment? Are there any other cost which the franchisee has to bear in mind apart from the investment that we've talked, which is about 8 to 10 lakhs?
So, as far as the license is concerned, there are only 2 licenses for a smaller format of outlet, unless you are having a larger format of outlet, which we'll discuss it in the next meeting. If it is a smaller format of the outlet, yes, there are only 3 mandatory licenses which is required. But if you directly approach it to the concerned authority, the charges are very, very less. It's about a couple of thousands, so 2 or 3 thousand, you get a proper license. But if you go through an agent or if you go through a third party, this thing, then yeah, it depends upon state to state. But overall, if you ask me, a GST license and a food safety FSSAI license would cost you not more than about 5,000 to 6,000 rupees, even if you go through a agency. Yes, if you are having a full-fledged dine-in format, yes, then we will need a PPL license, which is a public performance license for your music systems and other things. That also is a very negligible thing when if you directly approach to. Now it has become online, of course. In Bangalore or in Karnataka, it is online. So either it is renewal or applying for everything is online. So only thing, the guy who issues will come for a visit. Yeah, if the need arises, we need to just give him some bribe there in the visit time. Otherwise, it is a very simple process in Karnataka for now, as of now. I don't know for the other states. Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala is mostly online thing. So, but even if you go through, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd like to also, because I see people asking about the locations where they can go and see one of the existing outlets. Would you want to mention the current locations which are up and running? And you also mentioned some locations would come up maybe in the month of March or April, where the work is already initiated. So can you mention the sites and locations which the investors can visit? One. And second, maybe I will also request a day that we can take with you to maybe have one-on-one calls or maybe meetings. If our investors are local, they can even meet at the site or at the outlet or at the offices and take the discussion ahead. So 2 questions: which are the current location sites where the investors can go and visit? And second, if we can have one-on-one calls with the prospective investors who have come today, and any day that you want to suggest which is looking available on your calendar.
See, we can, Uday, I think you can answer this. Like, see, we can meet up in Bangalore in our Gopalan Mall outlet. That will be an idea, because that's a full-fledged dine-in outlet and it's a combo outlet also. So they can also get to see our Eagle Pizzas concept also there. And it's a full-fledged dine-in outlet, so we can have, even if it's a group of 5 or 6 people who wants to join together and come, we can arrange for that, preferably in Bangalore in Gopalan Mall. So date and timing we can commonly agree on, and we can fix up any day. It should be fine.
All right.
Gopalan
You
Mall is
want to
almost
suggest any
1,000
date?
outlet where just to add on here, Gopalan Mall outlet is a 1,000 SFT outlet. It's a big dine-in mall outlet, and adding to this, Koramangala outlet is also a big 1,000 SFT outlet. It's again a big dining outlet, and whereas Marthelli we have a small outlet that is of 200 square feet of outlet. That's it. So Gopalan, it would be better to visit.
Yes, Gopalan.
All right, and because you mentioned that you already have a bigger format, and currently the franchise that you wish to open is that for a smaller kiosk, 100 square feet. If there's an opportunity for somebody to open a bigger one, which is as big as what you currently run, which are your flagship stores, so what investment would go in? Maybe if you can give me a ballpark figure of the investment that goes in a bigger format.
Yeah, see, there are actually 3 formats what we currently see. As of now, we are only promoting the smaller formats because it's easy on pocket, and the model is a very successful one. Bigger outlets, yes, we can. We have about the semi dine-in and a super dine-in model, where the semi dine-in would take about 350 to 400 square feet with about 15 lakhs of investment. and the super dining model will be approximately about 18 to 20 lakhs, and it should be more than about 1,000 square feet. These are the three.
All right.
Yeah.
So do you see a visibility of 5th of March, which is maybe 5 days, or maybe I would say 7 days from today? Is that a day that we can do the meetings with the prospective, or maybe even Zoom calls or telephonic calls with the prospective investors?
Yeah, March 5th should be fine. But is it going to be online this thing, or they wanted to visit the store?
See, I will request, we'll take maybe the next 3 days to filter the inquiries which have come in. I would suggest anything which is local, they can be a visit which can be done so that our prospective investors can experience the outlet, they can taste the product. So we'll encourage as many face-to-face meetings as possible for all local investors. But anything which is outside, we can do it on 5th March. But anything which is local, we can even conduct that maybe even prior to 5th of March, which maybe we can come back to you and decide on a mutual date which is convenient for them.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay, very helpful. And before we close, Uday and Shiva, is there any last word or message that you want to give to the audience, please?
Uday, you want to?
Yeah. Yes. Thanks for all your time and participating here and knowing about Hunger Monks. It will be really great working with you all in future. We all will grow together. That is what I can tell. Thank you so much. Thanks for giving opportunity for Franchise India team.
Okay, thank you so much, Uday and Shiva. And I would reiterate and say the company is currently running stores, and they have locations outside South also, which are either operating or about to open. We would request, and our teams will reach out to all of you, especially the ones who have sent out their inquiry and they've shared their details and want more information on the business model. Anyone who's local, we'll share the exact location. You can even visit these outlets locally, go experience, take an outlet tour, experience the outlet. And the other is where you're outside and don't have an access to these outlets. We'll have your one-on-one call organized on 5th of March, which is a Friday in the coming week. Thank you so much once again. Over to you, Archana.
So thank you so much, Uday. Thanks, Shiva, for connecting with us for your brand. Thank you so much, Sonia ma'am. Dear participants, we would like to thank you also for joining us today and help us in presenting this particular business model to you. Do connect with us at our business hotline number, which is 97176-83838. We invite and welcome all suggestions, feedback at the same number. Please do save this number in your phone book, because Franchise India team is sending all the messages, franchise options through broadcast message. Also connect with us at different social handles, information on your screen. You can also join us at the Facebook page of Franchise India Brands Limited, so that you can see all the previously done webinars. Recorded versions are available under video section. Please do join Sonia ma'am and Gaurav sir at their respective LinkedIn IDs. And tomorrow, under our Business Opportunity with Chai webinar series 251th edition, we are bringing another great brand from town, that's Drifter's Beer. That's the brand we are bringing for you. Please do registration today so that you can join us tomorrow to understand what kind of a franchise and business model they are offering in market. Thank you so much once again for joining in today. Have a great day ahead. Stay safe, stay happy, eat healthy. Thank you so much.